Insellmilkom u nilqawkom għal programm ieħor mis-sensiela Nozz. Dan hu l-31 programm ta' din is-sensiela. Fil-programm tal-lum se nkunu qed nerġgħu nagħtu ħarsa lejn ix-xena internazzjonali tal-ibburdjar hekk kif ftit tal-jiem ilu bdiet it-tmien tappa tat-tellieqa ta' fama internazzjonali il-Volvo Ocean Race.
Considered one of the toughest sailing races in the world, covering over 39,000 nautical miles of challenging oceans.
The Volvo Ocean Race. Volvo Ocean Race.
Volvo Ocean Race.
Volvo Ocean
One
Race.
of the biggest events in yachting, the Volvo Ocean Race is coming to town.
Very interesting leg, different than the previous leg in many, many ways. We'll be crossing the equator again, changes quickly, and it's going to be a big challenge.
Pressure is back on 1.08, it's nothing. Of course we could lose. We are back on the lead.
So leg 8 is the last big one.
I love Newport. On paper, very nice leg.
As a team, we want nothing more than to get back on the horse and get going.
It's tricky.
I mean, the weather is very, very volatile, and we want nothing more than to win into our home stopover.
Il-belt ta' Taġi kienet invażata bin-nies tul il-waqfa tal-baħħara hemmhekk. Ħannatu titwila lejn xi filmati ta' din il-belt glorjuża.
In the air. The live mix is fantastic.
Però irridu niftakru li l-wasla fi Taġi ma kienx waħda mill-iżjed faċli, hekk kif il-baħħara sofrew it-telf ta' wieħed mill-membri tat-tim ta' Scallywag, kif ukoll batew ħafna tul is-seba' tappa dik magħrufa bħala l-aktar waħda stressanti. Kienet tappa mimlija emozzjoni, ħsarat fuq diversi dgħajjes u maltemp mill-aqwa li waslu biex irtiraw ukoll żewġ dgħajjes. Issa se nsegwu round-up ta' din is-seba' tappa hekk kif irrakkontata mill-baħħara stess. Fl-aħħar ta' dan il-filmat tistgħu tisimgħu wkoll poeżija dedikata lil John Fisher.
We do this race for two reasons, the competition and the adventure. Some legs tend to highlight each of those a little bit more. This leg, the Southern Ocean in particular, is long on the adventure side.
I think it's a massive challenge, it's a great adventure, and of course it's the racing part which we really want to win this race, and is what drives us to try again and again.
You are sailing in one of the strongest oceans in terms of wave, wind, it's cold. It's hard, but you do it, you push your limit more than you never expected.
I just love that challenge, fighting against the elements and against other competitors.
I think it's very unique to race in a stretch of water so isolated, so far away from anything else in the world, and to cope with it.
I love the ocean. I love that harnessing of power and trying to do the best job you can.
Physically, it's bloody hard. It's just game on every second of the leg.
You come off the helm after, the eyes stinging with the walls of water. You can't see the numbers half the time, so it's by feel a lot of the time. And at the end of that, you're exhausted.
You forget about your fears, you forget about the cold. You have no choice and you push your limit.
That's why we love it. And it's that element that makes it exciting, that draws people to watch it, to view it, to follow us.
water was very cold and 35 plus knots day after day, so it was a tough Southern Ocean for us.
This is an epic story.
To get people and characters together that especially can make each other better, when you have that great feeling that you did it with each other, that's a very powerful feeling in sports.
You know, we do get up every day and strive to achieve, you know, our personal goals and dreams. It's an amazing feeling.
We all have that passion. If you don't have the passion, you don't have that drive, you will not hold even one leg.
I did this race because it's a dream. You go everywhere in the world, you cross all the ocean, you met the best sailor of the world. No race so great as the World Ocean Race.
You will never be able to describe it by words. We're blasting here along in 40 knots of breeze, nearly on the edge, and we're sailing fast numbers, and it is fantastic. And yeah, why do we do? Because you forget the bad things, and the good memories stay with you.
You know, once we got that news, unfortunately, it was really hard for me personally, but for everybody on board to focus. You know, it was at the front of everybody's mind. You know, every time you clip in, you think about it. Every time the boat's careening down a wave, every time, you know, it's difficult. I mean, it's all anyone could think about, really.
Every watch I had, when I woke up, I thought about him. When I went on deck, I thought about him. When I went downstairs going to my bunk, I thought about him. It just sticks with you.
It's tough. I mean, we had what I'll call distraction of a dismasting, you know, at the end of our leg. But had that not happened, you know, it'd be occupying all my headspace right now. So.
I must go down to the seas again, to the lonely sea in the sky. And all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by. And the wheels kick and the wind's song and the white sails shaking. And a grey mist on the sea's face and a grey dawn breaking. I must go down to the seas again, for the call of the running tide is a wild call and a clear call that may not be denied. And all I ask is a windy day with the white clouds flying and the flung spray and the blown spoon and the seagulls crying. I must go down to the seas again, to the vagrant gypsy life, to the gull's way and the whale's way where the wind's like a whetted knife. And all I ask is a merry yarn from a laughing fellow rover and a quiet sleep and a sweet dream when the long trick's over.
You know, it's one of those things that you always dream of doing, and you know, if you're lucky enough to get the chance to do a race like this, everyone should grab it. I think, you know, it isn't for everyone, but you should always challenge yourself.
Fluti tal-Volvo Ocean Race Leg 7 Awards l-ekwipaġġ ta' SHK Scallywag irringrazzja lil kulħadd tal-appoġġ u l-assistenza tagħhom wara l-ġrajiet traġiċi tas-26 ta' Marzu. Is-Scallywags irritornaw fil-Volvo Ocean Race biex jikkompetu mat-timijiet l-oħra fit-8 tappa minn Itaġija għal Newport wara li kienu rtiraw fis-7 tappa. Saret referenza speċjali għar-rebbieħ tas-7 tappa Team Brunel u l-ekwipaġġ tagħhom immexxija minn Becking għall-għajnuna u l-appoġġ tagħhom. Team Scallywag varaw logo ġdid fuq id-dajsa kif ukoll fuq l-uniformijiet biex jonoraw lil membru tat-tim John Fisher li tilef ħajtu traġikament tul din is-7 tappa. It-tim ħabbar ukoll li Pedro Cumming minn Southampton mir-Renju Unit se jingħaqad mal-ekwipaġġ. Pedro għandu 9 rekords dinjin fl-ibbur djar. Issa se nsegwu intervista ma' David Witt, l-iskipper ta' Scallywag, kif ukoll ma' Becking ta' Team Brunel.
I think the biggest compliment I could give John is he was the best team player I've ever seen. Put everyone else first. There's a whole lot of, you know, sort of an ethos that the Scallywags try and live by. You know, we never give up. We look after each other. We don't have to be the best, but we do it together. And probably the most important moral of our team is loyalty. And you know, obviously I've had a lot of time to think about it in the last 10 days, but I'm pretty much describing John Fisher. I'm not really describing the Scallywag team, I'm describing John Fisher. So, for me, yeah, he was my best mate. And Sunday's going to be a little bit weird. It'll be the first time I've gone to sea without him in 12 years. So, but, you know, like you say, the support we've had from, you know, within the Volvo family has been amazing. I think, you know, it takes a special people to do this race, whether you're the skipper or you're the crew, and I think the character of the people in this race has been amplified by the way we've been supported by other competitors in the last week. I thought yesterday when the boat arrived to the dock was a pretty moving sort of thing. That wasn't for publicity or PR, that was just genuine good characters in the race, so I'm sure John would be very proud about that. But, you know, the best thing we can do in John's memory is get on the job, get on with it on Sunday. If he'd watched me, you know, if he was standing behind me right now, he'd be telling me to harden up. Don't be soft and get on with it, and that's what we're going to do on Sunday.
Well, of course, it's the first thing when you hear a message like that, just straight away you can just see everybody's face just drops. I think especially me being the skipper, you just have that extra responsibility feeling. But just that whole leg, it was just every time. I wrote about it as well. You wake up, you think about John. You go on deck, you think about John. So it's just, it's sitting deep.
I'm personally changed from the tragedy. As a skipper, you're responsible for everybody. So, you know, I've lost a crew member, I've lost my best mate, and to say I feel responsible is an understatement. That's something I just got to live with for the rest of my life. From a safety point of view, no, I think, you know, we have some of the highest, probably the highest safety of anything. We've got the best sailors in the world. My description of the incident was, you know, it's a bit like buying a block of Swiss cheese and all of a sudden all the holes line up. You know, it's a sort of a whole lot of things had to all coincide and go wrong at the same time. I think it's very important to note, if you haven't read the timeline, that John didn't die from being washed overboard. John was dead before he hit the water. And I think that gets lost a bit. I think that's pretty important. So, you know, I think what we do has got risk. That's probably what draws some of us here, and, you know, we just have to operate in that risk. And unfortunately, that, you know, the worst scenario happened this time. I don't think we'd do anything different than we did. I personally think, if I got the opportunity, I'd just say that, you know, in the team's worst moment ever, they probably shone the brightest.
Se nrukom ukoll intervisti mal-iskippers ta' 7 jottijiet differenti dwar il-ħsibijiet tagħhom fuq it-8 tappa.
So the next leg, leg 8, goes from E31 to Newport, USA.
A lot of boats are going to be, you know, up there to win the leg, and, you know, for us from Mafre, we have to step up again and you know, put all the strength to try to win this leg.
E31 Newport, very nice leg. Crossing the doldrums again, but in the easy part normally. Very west, so usually it's not a strong doldrums. That's good because we don't like doldrums. It's completely random.
The equator crossing shouldn't be so hard because there's no doldrums more or less existing on the Brazilian coast. So on paper you can just sail straight through. But once you're at the heart of Recife or just north of it, Fernando de Noronha.
And after that, normally you get some good trade winds all along the Caribbean islands.
The breeze probably will increase because the northeast trades are at that time of the year a little stronger. And we're reaching up direction Bermuda, just past Bermuda, and then in the hands of the weather gods if there's coming a depression, or we just reach all the way into Newport. But we just know the last 1.5 days into Newport, the water is getting cold.
It's pretty cold, you know, once you get north of the Gulf Stream, you know, cold water, cold seas. Can be some pretty vicious storms, you know, this time of year, but it can also be very sunny and very pleasant.
Memories of this leg from the last edition involve days and days of going through the Sargasso Sea, lumps of weed, having to heel the boat over and clear sail drives and keels and rudders, and you're convinced you're the only boat that's having to deal with this, and then you get to Newport and find out that everyone was doing the same.
I love Newport. It's not only that it's a sailing destination, but there's so much heritage with the America's Cup being there for so many years, and of course all the local population know what the race is about, and it's a fantastic setup. The last race, I think, was one of the best stopovers we had as well.
Issa nerġaw lura l-andament ta' 8 tappa, kif it-telliqa bdiet nhar il-Ħadd 22 ta' April b'7 jottijiet u 7 teams parteċipanti. Dawn huma Team AkzoNobel, Dongfang Race Team, Mapfre, Vestas 11 Tower Racing, Sung Hung Kai Scallywag, Turn the Tide on Plastic u Team Brunel. Din it-tappa se toħodna minn Itaxi fil-Brażil għal Newport fl-Istati Uniti, tul ta' 5,700 mil nautiku. L-overall leaderboard wara 7 tappa kienet hekk. Dongfeng Race Team 46 punt, Mapfre 45 punt, Team Brunel 36 punt, Team AkzoNobel 33 punt, Scallywag 26 punt, Vestas 11 Tower Racing 23 punt, Turn the Tide on Plastic 20 punt. Iż-żewġ dajjes ħomor stabilixxew il-pass fil-bidu ta' 8 tappa huma ħirġin mill-port. Issa se nsegwu t-tluq.
Mapfre hold a lead of around 10 boat lengths ahead of Dongfeng Race Team. Be close, the umpires look on the boats just behind, keeping a very close eye on it. Turn the Tide on Plastic, just dipping under Brunel. Dongfeng Race Team squeezing in ahead of Brunel for a second place. Brunel in third, Turn the Tide on Plastic in fourth, around the second windward mark. That the leaving mark for the E31 stopover. Now it's offshore rules apply. Matt Frey leading. Great sailing from them all the way around the racecourse.
What a fantastic way to leave E31. Beautiful sailing weather. Fantastic stopover. The crowds have been wonderful.
2, 1, hold trim. 4, 3, 2, 1, now. We are faster and touch lower than Vestas. Touch trim on there, Ted. Hold. Faster and higher than Vestas behind us. Hold trim. Okay, Pascal, yours. Imagine merci. 3, 2, 1, hold trim. Go.
Jack, check les issues, doctor.
Just watch out behind you guys. We've got the whole fleet coming. Out of port primary, please. Shake. You're still in port primary. Okay. Okay, go. Starboard primary. Hold. I don't know how far to go. I look. Okay, trim's good, Kevin. I go back. One.
Sissa t-telliqa tidher li għaddejja b'pass normali, iżda b'ħafna taqlib fil-pożizzjonijiet tal-jottijiet. L-aħħar rapport rigward il-pożizzjonijiet li kellna qabel ma laqna l-programm kien hekk.